Hi, I'm Thea Fuller, and today we're going to be going over what I've learned in the master's program. Reese, the mindfulness cat, is going to join us on this adventure. First, the biggest thing that I learned was the unexpected competition and understanding of my time coming within the combination of life and education. And what that means is being able to balance both being able to go to work full time, be a student full time, have a family, move across the country. Um, just so many things that I didn't expect to learn within that, and that there are times when the um, different parts of your life are what need the most of your time, and that's okay. And that means that sometimes other things have to go to the wayside for a minute, and also being able to learn how to ensure that your relationships are going well too. I say that to say that shortly after taking the first classes at ASU, we learned that we were pregnant. And so, kind of funny story. I forget what class it was, but I had literally had to stay up till midnight one night to get this assignment done. And I was 5 days before my due date. And I had asked my husband, who's also a PhD student in history at ASU, to stay up with me in order to finish up this class, and he absolutely said yes. And so we did this, and as soon as I turned the assignment in, I lay on the ground on my back and my water breaks. And so I ended up going into labor after turning in one of my assignments. So here's Reese the mindfulness cat, and behind her, all these different terms that I've learned throughout my MSW experience. And I wanted to take the time to acknowledge that all of these things are so important, right? That the MSW program at ASU does an excellent job of teaching you the book information, of the all the facts that you need to know in order to have a strong foundation of social work. But at the same time, there were so many other things that this program taught me that I really want to focus on. And so, to answer the question of what my academic journey has been like, the one thing that I would want other students to know is that the biggest thing actually didn't come in a textbook. Most of the biggest lessons that I learned throughout this journey is that it's excellent to have a solid foundation, but having the people skills to apply those is so important as well. So I want to touch on those. So the first thing is to expect the unexpected. I think that's part of why this type of work is so exciting for us, is because whenever we are working in social work, or whenever we are doing these things, our day to day are going to look different, and that's okay. And sometimes, honestly, whenever things come and they turn things upside down, that adds sprinkles to life's cupcakes. Something else to consider is the fact that we need to make sure that we can ask the right questions. So, whenever we're talking to people, they're only going to give us information based off of what we've asked them, right? So, if we see a family and we're working with them, it's really important to make sure that we're not just asking about who's present or what physically we're seeing, but also to ask about what we can't see, and also asking about what who isn't there. So maybe if mom and dad are there, or mom and sister, or whoever, and there's someone who's not there, maybe simply even saying, who isn't here that you wish was here? Or asking, or even simply asking, whenever you're talking to another professional, what should I be asking that I'm not asking? What am I missing? Because there's always new colors to paint with and new pieces of the puzzle that we don't really realize are there. So, how do we keep up? In today's world, especially right now, we can see that things are constantly changing and, terminology is changing or the focus is changing. And, what term that might be appropriate at one point is now insensitive, or maybe even in one culture, it could be insensitive in another. So, for me, what I've learned through this program is that it's always good to be willing to change or self-reflect and have positive evolution within ourselves, and being able to know that we're not cold and hard but instead malleable. Something else that's really awesome to learn is that we get to learn alongside the clients. So, whenever they ask a question that maybe we don't know the answer to, it's always okay to be able to say, I don't know, but I'd love to learn that with you. Another huge thing that I've learned through this program is to stay flexible and hydrated. And I mean that both physically and mentally, along with our schedules. So I mean that, yes, we should stay healthy, and because if we're not taking care of ourselves, we can't take care of others. And with the flexibility, that means that to understand that what works for one person doesn't work for the other. And, when it comes to staying hydrated, to me, that's a tip of saying that it's really important that we're able to self reflect and take care of ourselves, make sure we're getting enough sleep, that we're eating, and that we're drinking enough water. Because if we can't help others if we can't help ourselves. So enjoy the journey. I think that a lot of times I was getting so focused on the end result that I had to stop and pause and be able to think, what is going on right now that I can say that I love and that I am enjoying? And through this MSW program, that's what I've learned so much about, is that the struggle, it's not about the end result, right? Because if it's about just the end result, then we'd all be dead. Like, we're all just folk like running a race that we know the end to. But for this, I feel like it's about the struggle. It's about enjoying the moments where, we are learning or where we're uncomfortable, and embracing those spaces. I think it's also it goes to this: enjoy the topsy turvy. Like right now, I'm sure you can hear my toddler in the background. This is not the first take I've taken of this, and so I've decided to let him be in the background because this is my final project, and I know that maybe 5, 10 years down the road, I'll listen to this and I'll remember his little voice, and I'll be so grateful that I kept the takes with him in it. Yeah, thank you. And so enjoy the topsy turvy. This is actually a great time for him to come in because for me, the term topsy turvy is something that I've learned through this. It's not really a technical term, but what it means is that, things can get messy and things can be chaotic, but if we view them as topsy turvy, so if we view them as just the positive piece of it, like a roller coaster, like the twists and turns, that's great. That's a really good thing to be able to do. So enjoy the topsy turvy. Embrace those moments where things are absolutely crazy. Stay curious, always asking questions. The laws and the techniques and the frameworks are always changing. So, to any students out there, and even to myself, remember that it's great to be able to stay curious. So just because we have our master's degree doesn't mean that we should stop learning and stop asking questions and stop, embracing the fact that, as long as we're learning, we're living. So another huge thing that I learned was to be a team player, be willing to tag someone else in. We don't have to save the world ourselves. In fact, we can't. And that's a beautiful thing, because if just one person was needed to save the world, then the rest of us would have really lonely lives. So be okay with not having all the answers, and go to those who do, and if sometimes that means that, you need to take a break so that way you don't get compassion fatigue, great. Tag someone else in, be a team player. Let them have success too. Listen more is a huge thing I've learned. But listen more to everyone around you, because everyone around you is an expert of their own life, and they have something beautiful that they can share with you that you might not otherwise know. So give compassion and kindness to yourself and to others. I am, a term that I've learned on my internship is a recovering perfectionist. So to me, that means that, like this moment with my son, be willing to, oh yeah, give compassion and kindness to yourself and to others. Understand that you don't know what's going on. Maybe they're having a really bad day. Maybe they don't know what's going on. You don't always know what's going on in someone's life, so it's good to be able to embrace that space and move forward. So give yourself kindness and give it to others as well. And finally, enjoy the successes, no matter how big or small they are. So, we're so close to graduation, so let's enjoy that moment. And let's also enjoy all the small things. And like I do with my toddler, whenever we have, successes, whenever he does something well, whether it's big or small, I celebrate those things. And I should be doing the same thing to myself, and same with all the other students out there. Enjoy all the successes, no matter how big or small. Thank you so much, ASU, for such a wonderful experience. I am so incredibly grateful. Good night. Go Sun Devils.